Welcome, dear listeners, to our scary stories. This is your host, inviting you into the shadows, where reality and nightmares blur. Tonight, we journey through a tale that will send chills down your spine. A tale that will have you second-guessing every sound in the night. So, gather your courage, turn down the lights, and let the eerie dance of candle shadows play upon your wall as we delve into the chilling world of the Ectoplasm Codex. Our tale begins in the gloaming of a hazy afternoon, tucked away in a hushed corner of Old Town. A labyrinthine, antiquarian bookstore known as the Whispering Quill stands there, a beacon to bibliophiles and history enthusiasts alike. With creaky wooden floors and the distinct scent of aged parchment, it's a treasure trove of forgotten stories. There, amidst the echoing silence punctuated only by the distant hum of traffic, Arthur Brentwood finds himself entranced by the shelves, each brimming with well-worn volumes begging for attention. Arthur, with his salt and pepper hair and spectacles precariously balanced on the bridge of his nose, stands as a living testament to his lifelong passion, book collecting. His hands, weathered by time and countless pages, tremble slightly in anticipation as he carefully navigates the tightly packed aisles. The air is rich with the scent of musky paper and worn leather bindings, overlaid with the faintest hint of mold, an olfactory tapestry woven through decades. His eyes fall on an obscure manuscript nestled inconspicuously between weighty tomes. It's a book unlike any he's seen before, its cover cloaked in a patina of age, worn leather strained over time's unforgiving march. This is the Ectoplasm Codex. Intrigue flutters in Arthur's chest, his heart echoing the soft thump of his fingers on the Codex's time-worn cover. His skin tingles at the subtle chill of the ancient parchment beneath his touch, an icy whisper from the past. Back home, under the austere glow of his study lamp, Arthur's excitement spills over as he cradles the Codex, each turn of the fragile page echoing in the solemn silence. The crisp scent of antiquity fills the room, merging with the familiar smell of polished mahogany and wax from his crowded bookshelves. The walls are almost concealed beneath the weight of countless books, each a testament to a tale from a time long past. Arthur's heart hammers in his chest as he reads the opening lines of the Codex, his voice a raspy whisper stirring the stagnant air. His breath hitches as the stillness of the room shatters. An ethereal glow radiates from the book, spilling onto Arthur's astonished face. The light dances in his wide eyes, reflecting a cosmos of swirling spectrums. The room hums with an energy that prickles his skin, his hair standing on end. The scent of ozone fills his nostrils, a stark contrast to the homely warmth of his study. As he speaks the final word of the first passage, a creature materializes from the incandescent light. It's a benign, translucent entity, its amorphous body shimmering in the semi-darkness, casting distorted shadows that flit about the room. Arthur recoils, knocking over his chair as his heart thunders against his ribcage. The creature meanders, its movements akin to fluid, interacting harmlessly with the environment around it. Arthur stands frozen, his breath hitching in the tight space of his throat. In the echoing silence, his heartbeats sound like a drum. He watches the ectoplasmic form with a sense of dread, uncertainty, and a morbid fascination. As the initial shock wears off, he reaches a profound realization: the power the Codex wields, the very threat it poses, and the pressing need to contain it. A rare book collector no more, Arthur Brentwood has just become the unwitting guardian of a dangerous relic. Yet, he's wholly unprepared for the nightmares it's poised to unleash. The only sound in the room is the muted tick-tock of the old grandfather clock, marking the seconds of a terrifying new chapter in his life. The stakes have been set, and the game has only just begun. The ancient Codex lies dormant once more, its secrets veiled under the deceptive calmness, waiting for the players to make their move. In the cold, dawning light, Arthur's study stands as a testament to the previous night's otherworldly occurrence. The toppled chair, the hasty disarray of parchment and ink, and the solemn presence of the Codex, resting innocuously amid the chaos. The room smells of dust disturbed in the lingering scent of electricity, a stark contrast to its usual aroma of coffee-stained pages and wooden comfort. Arthur is a silhouette against the morning, his expression a jumbled mosaic of curiosity, trepidation, and fascination. As he gingerly navigates the disorderly room, the frail morning light casts long, distorted shadows, giving the scene an eerie undertone. He can't help but recall the sight of the ectoplasmic entity that had emerged from the Codex, a visage that held the potential to cast a formidable veil over his reality. Drawn to the codex once more, he carefully opens it. Each parchment crackles under his trembling touch, resonating through the quiet room like whispered secrets. His heart is a drum pounding an erratic rhythm as he dreads and anticipates what might follow. As he reads aloud, his voice wavers, distorted by anxiety and curiosity. As the final syllable of an incantation slips off his tongue, the stillness quakes again. A cold gust of wind fills the room, carrying a faint, otherworldly fragrance of sea salt and aged earth, ruffling pages and chilling his very soul. The air condenses, like the moments before a summer storm, electric and alive. From the book, a new light unfolds, a cerulean blue glow that pulsates in time with Arthur's thudding heart. The light intensifies, taking form and substance. It coalesces into a creature distinctly different from the previous entity. This one is more substantial, its shape firm, reminiscent of a wolf, and its eyes hold an intelligent glint. Its existence is an eerie whisper against reality, its aura both captivating and terrifying. An ethereal growl rumbles through the room, a chilling sound that reverberates off the walls and settles heavily in Arthur's gut. His pulse skyrockets as he scrambles backward, colliding with the cold mahogany of his bookshelf. He stares at the creature, his breath hitching as the room plunges into an ominous quiet. The creature prowls, its movements graceful yet menacing, filling the room with an intense, foreign energy. Its eyes gleam with an unearthly light, staring intently at Arthur. He can't help but imagine those eyes in the deepest pits of his nightmares, those haunting, luminescent eyes that could make any brave heart quiver in fear. With the arrival of this creature, Arthur's world shifts on its axis once more. A realization floods him. Each recitation brings forth beings increasingly powerful, increasingly dangerous. The Codex is no mere collection of tales, it's a Pandora's box. He can taste the bitter tinge of regret and fear on his tongue as the reality sinks in. His dreams of rare finds have morphed into a chilling nightmare, one that he can't simply wake up from. His mission, once driven by passion, now becomes a terrifying mandate to decipher the Codex and keep its horrors at bay. As Arthur locks eyes with the ethereal wolf, he knows his life won't be the same. The ticking of the grandfather clock grows louder, like a cruel countdown, echoing in the tense silence. The game has truly begun, with higher stakes and a deadly reality lying in wait, woven into the ancient text of the Ectoplasm Codex. Across town, nestled in an ivy-clad university building, Dr. Marion Fairfax gazes absently at the ceaseless rain from her office window. Her office, a cradle of knowledge and comfort, hums with the steady tick-tock of an old wall clock, overlaying the soft murmur of rain against glass. Piles of books and scattered papers tell tales of her life's work, linguistics, and the esoteric world of symbols. Marion, an enigmatic woman in her 40s, is a vision of quiet resilience and intellectual prowess. A distinguished linguist, she bears an additional, unusual gift, the power of precognition. She senses events before they unfold, a trait that has marked both a blessing and a burden. Today, she feels a peculiar disturbance, a shiver in her spine, a tug at her subconscious. Something monumental is on the horizon. Her day-to-day reality morphs as she falls into the grip of a vision, her senses hijacked by another time, another place. She sees chaos, hears screams swallowed by fear, smells smoke and burning timber, and tastes the sharp tang of panic in the air. At the center of it all stands Arthur Brentwood, his face contorted in fear, a book glowing ominously in his hands. The vision ends as abruptly as it started, leaving Marion gasping for breath in her silent office, the sounds of the rain punctuating her pounding heartbeat. Shaking off the disorientation, she senses a deep connection between Arthur, the book, and the impending chaos her vision promised. The rain continues to batter against the window as she grapples with the enormity of her revelation. The musty scent of old books fills her lungs, grounding her amidst the storm raging both outside and within her. Her mind whirring, Marion reaches for her coat. The weight of her precognition heavier than ever, she realizes that Arthur is the key, the Codex's dangerous tool, and she the only one equipped to aid him. A deep sense of responsibility settles within her as she steps out into the rain, her mind filled with grim determination. As she hails a taxi, the rain patters on her umbrella, the drops sounding like hurried whispers. She clutches her coat tighter, shivering against the icy gusts slicing through the labyrinth of university buildings. As the cityscape blurs past her, she can't help but imagine the devastation her visions foretold. She feels the undercurrent of dread and anxiety, the bitter chill of the rain echoing her inner turmoil. Her destination, Arthur's residence, a place she's never been, but one she knows intimately through her visions. She mentally prepares herself for the arduous task ahead, the need to convince Arthur of her precognitive abilities, and the dangers lurking within his precious find. As the rain drums a relentless tattoo against the taxi's roof, she prays she isn't too late to avert the unfolding calamity. As she steps out of the cab onto the slick pavement, Marion glances at Arthur's residence, the epicenter of her precognition. Her heart throbs in her chest, a silent countdown to a confrontation that might just be their only hope against the horrors of the Ectoplasm Codex. The world continues to spin oblivious to the mortal danger it faces, as Marion steps into the eye of the impending storm. The Brentwood residence stands imposing against the gray sky, its stone facade wet from the rain, and its windows like vacant eyes staring into the oblivion. Marion ascends the steps, her heart thundering louder than the rainfall. She hesitates a moment before knocking, her mind swarming with her rehearsed speech. The door swings open to reveal Arthur, his hair disheveled, eyes haunted with a terror Marion knows too well. Marion takes in the sight of him, her resolve bolstering. As she explains her precognition, her voice holds a note of urgency, her words interlaced with an uncomfortable truth. Arthur listens, his initial skepticism quickly eroding under the sheer conviction in Marion's voice, and the undeniable correlation with his experiences. As they stand in the threshold of Arthur's home, the scent of the rain-drenched earth wafts in, mixing with the cozy aroma of aged wood and books. The atmosphere is charged with an electric anticipation as Arthur reluctantly invites her inside, his curiosity piqued, and his fear compelling him to consider Marion's alarming proposition. They move to Arthur's study, now familiar to Marion from her visions. Her gaze falls on the codex, resting ominously on Arthur's desk, its pages echoing in eerie silence. She touches it gingerly, feeling a cold shudder snake down her spine as her fingertips make contact with the leather-bound tome. They sink into a lengthy discussion about the codex, their dialogue a symphony of two intellects colliding. Arthur shares his terrifying experiences, the summoning of the creatures, each more dangerous than the last. Marion listens, her fears being confirmed, the threat more tangible and immediate than she'd initially realized. The room grows dim as the day gives way to a stormy evening, the sounds of the city drowned out by the constant patter of rain against the window. The glow from the desk lamp casts long shadows, lending an air of solemnity to their mission. Both Arthur and Marion feel the weight of the task that lies ahead, the palpable sense of danger now forming a bond between them. Their pact is silent, unspoken yet binding. A pact to delve into the cryptic depths of the Codex, to understand its language, and to reverse the summonings. Marion, with her extensive knowledge of linguistics and symbols, and Arthur, with his first-hand experience of the Codex, form an unlikely alliance. As the grandfather clock chimes, marking the passing hours, they pore over the Codex. Arthur's study, once a haven for his passion for collecting, transforms into a battleground against an invisible enemy. Amid the brewing storm and the ominous ticking of the clock, Arthur and Marion stand shoulder to shoulder, ready to wage a war against the nightmare that the Ectoplasm Codex threatens to unleash. As dawn breaks, Arthur's study transforms into a sanctuary of intense focus and tireless effort. The room buzzes with the rustling of pages, the hushed discourse, and the occasional clink of coffee mugs. Despite their growing exhaustion, neither Arthur nor Marion allow themselves respite, the severity of their situation fueling their determination. The scent of strong coffee mingles with the mustiness of the Codex, creating a unique olfactory blend that marks their relentless pursuit of knowledge. Arthur and Marion probe the mystic depths of the Codex, their minds running a marathon to decrypt the esoteric symbols and phrases. Their attempts to understand the Codex oscillate between moments of triumphant discovery and bouts of frustrating dead ends. Amid their dedicated deciphering, Arthur accidentally triggers another passage, his voice slicing through the heavy silence of the room. A sudden, icy draft fills the study, bringing with it a metallic odor that sours their taste buds and chills their skin. The pages of the Codex flutter in the gust, a gloomy aura seeping from the ancient manuscript. Their dread is immediately justified as a new entity emerges, a creature more terrifying and powerful than the previous manifestations. This time, it takes the form of a massive bird, its plumage an eerie translucent blue, casting spectral shadows around the room. Its chilling, piercing screech echoes in the chamber, the sound scraping against their nerves and leaving them breathless with terror. The bird swoops around the room, its vast wingspan causing books and papers to flutter around. The usually silent study now a whirlwind of chaos. Arthur and Marion dive behind the sturdy desk, their hearts hammering against their ribs as they take cover from the airborne terror. When the tumult subsides, they peer over the desk, only to find the creature perched ominously on a bookshelf, its eerie eyes gleaming with an alien intelligence. Its presence imposes an intense dread, a silent proclamation of the escalating threat they now face. Emerging from the encounter rattled but unharmed, they share a look of understanding. The threat is more substantial than they anticipated, and time is slipping away faster than they had imagined. With renewed vigor and a shared sense of urgency, they return to their task, the memory of the creature's screech still echoing in their ears. As the grandfather clock chimes the late-night hours, they delve deeper into the mysteries of the Codex. The once harmless hobby of book collecting has become a terrifying gamble with unseen entities. The game has changed, the stakes higher, and the players themselves now a part of a deadly riddle, the solution to which lies within the pages of the Ectoplasm Codex. With the dawn, the sleepy town stirs, oblivious to the struggle unfolding within Arthur's home. Arthur and Marion, wearied by their relentless efforts, find themselves burrowed deep in a world of ancient lexicon and cryptic symbols. The study, once Arthur's sanctuary, is now an arena of their struggle against time and an unseen enemy. The room is awash with an aroma of stale coffee, ink, and dust, a testament to their countless hours spent within its confines. Sunlight filters through the half-closed blinds, casting a grid of illumination on the carpet, oblivious to the gravity of the situation unfolding within the room. Their progress is punctuated by intense discussions, scribbled notes, and hurried references to other linguistic texts. Marion, with her expert understanding of ancient languages, deciphers the Codex's text piece by piece, a painstaking process of linguistic excavation. Her visions grow more frequent and vivid, each one echoing an urgent warning, quickening their desperate pace. Arthur, for his part, recalls his experiences with each creature, identifying the patterns of summoning and contributing crucial insights. His fingers trace the weathered pages of the Codex, the once appealing thrill of the hunt replaced by a gnawing dread and determination. He recognizes the escalation in the creature's power with each passage, a horrifying gradient that only amplifies their urgency. Despite their exhausting endeavor, the final passage remains as cryptic as ever, its reversal incantation concealed within a puzzle of enigmatic symbols in complex language. The scent of antiquity, once a comforting aroma to Arthur, is now a reminder of the ancient horror they are racing to contain. As the day dwindles, casting elongated shadows across the room, Arthur and Marion persist. The study reverberates with the echoes of their mission, the walls holding their secrets, bearing silent witness to their battle against the odds. They stand within the eye of the storm, their actions poised to determine the fate of their world. Outside, the setting sun paints the sky in hues of crimson and orange, a beautiful contrast to their grim undertaking. Their world has narrowed down to the age-worn pages of the Codex, each line, each word, a path leading them closer to their goal. Time continues its relentless march, the ticking clock a persistent reminder of the dwindling hours. The night arrives, bringing with it a hush, the silent anticipation of a world unknowingly standing on the brink of chaos. 3 days have blurred into a tapestry of tireless research, countless cups of coffee, and the constant undercurrent of a ticking clock. The once orderly study has morphed into a battlefield, strewn with papers scrawled with desperate attempts at deciphering the Codex. The scent of worn paper and old ink lingers in the air, merging with the underlying note of anxiety. Exhausted yet determined, Marion and Arthur find themselves navigating the perilous seas of desperation. In a drastic move, they decide to take a calculated risk, to decipher the Codex's final passage through trial and error. With a collective breath, they begin reciting a portion they believe is not a summoning, but a part of the reversal incantation. The moment the words are spoken, a chill ripples through the room. A haunting wail echoes, casting a veil of icy dread. The familiar glow materializes, but this time, it's a cruel blood red that bathes the room in an ominous hue. The scent of burning embers permeates the air, overwhelming the musty smell of the study. From the crimson radiance, a new creature forms, its manifestation more horrifying than any they've witnessed before. It towers above them, an unholy fusion of man and beast, its roar a thunderous promise of destruction. Its eyes, glowing like molten gold, focus on Arthur and Marion, a chilling intelligence evident in its gaze. Arthur and Marion scramble backward, their hearts hammering against their rib cages. The sheer power radiating from the creature makes the air heavy, the room suddenly too small, the reality too close for comfort. The creature takes a menacing step toward them, the floor trembling beneath its weight. Dread seizes them, a suffocating realization that their desperate attempt has summoned a creature far more deadly. The Codex, lying forgotten on the desk, seems to leer at them, its innocuous appearance belying the horrifying reality it holds. The study, once their haven, is now a nightmare sprung to life, the walls echoing the creature's terrible roars. Miraculously, before the creature can cause harm, it dissolves back into the eerie red light, disappearing as suddenly as it appeared. The room falls quiet, save for the labored breaths of Arthur and Marion. Their relief is palpable as their escalating dread. They share a solemn look, the gravity of their error sinking in. This latest manifestation reaffirms their fears. Each summoning from the Codex brings forth a creature of escalating power and horror. Their mission becomes more urgent, their path more treacherous. As the study falls back into a deceptive calm, they return to their task. Each word, each symbol carrying the weight of their race against time. Their battle against the nightmarish creatures of the Ectoplasm Codex. The sun crests over the horizon, casting a golden hue over the town, oblivious to the pair's tireless efforts through the night. After their disastrous attempt at deciphering the final passage, Arthur and Marion double down on their efforts, driven by a renewed urgency. Their exhaustion has become an inconsequential whisper in the backdrop of their mission. The study has become a vortex of knowledge, information swirling around as they frantically search for the final piece of the puzzle. The air is heavy with tension, the scent of old books and spent candles lending an undertone of staleness. The thick drapes shut against the world outside seem to seal them off in their realm, where time is both an enemy and an ally. In the midst of this cyclone of desperation, a breakthrough emerges. Marion, her eyes darkened from exhaustion yet burning with determination, stumbles upon an obscure linguistic correlation. She finally manages to crack the code of the final passage, the reversal incantation that promises to undo the summonings. The room descends into a moment of stunned silence, their breaths held hostage by the enormity of their discovery. The early morning light filtering through a gap in the curtains illuminates the Codex, its ancient script now a beacon of hope rather than a harbinger of chaos. Their hearts beat in synchrony, the rhythm a testament to their shared fear and burgeoning hope. The reversal incantation, a series of words, sounds, and symbols, appears complex yet holds the promise of a resolution. As they practice the phrases, the room echoes with the foreign words, their sounds bouncing off the walls filled with volumes of knowledge. The day rolls into night once more, the study illuminated only by the soft glow of the desk lamp. Shadows cast by the towering bookshelves flicker across the room, painting an eerie landscape. Yet, amidst this desolate stage, there is a renewed sense of hope and determination. The hours melt away as they perfect the pronunciation and rhythm, preparing for the final showdown. They are no longer just a rare book collector and a linguist. They are warriors on the brink of an unseen war, their weapon a chain of enigmatic words, their mission clearer than ever. As midnight descends, the silence of the study is interrupted by the grandfather clock chiming 12 times. Each note resonates in the room, marking the beginning of the final act. The Codex, once a source of horror, is now their key to salvation. Arthur and Marion, battle-worn but resilient, prepare for the ultimate test that awaits them. The Ectoplasm Codex lies open, ready to witness the culmination of their arduous journey. Under the dome of a moonlit night, Arthur's study transforms into a crucible of resolve and anticipation. The room vibrates with an unspoken tension, each ticking second measured by the rhythmic pulse of their heartbeats. The Codex lies open, its pages bathed in the dim glow of the desk lamp, the final passage looming ominously from the ancient parchment. Arthur and Marion stand shoulder to shoulder, their bodies rigid with apprehension. Marion's precognitive abilities paint a vision of uncertainty, her usual confidence drowned in a sea of unease. Arthur, haunted by the echoes of the previous creatures, clenches his jaw, steeling himself for the trial ahead. Taking a collective breath, they begin reciting the reversal incantation, their voices resonating in a unified chant. The words weave through the tense silence, their unfamiliar sounds vibrating off the walls. Each syllable is punctuated by a throbbing anticipation, the room holding its breath as they near the end of the incantation. The final word reverberates, the silence that follows deafening. The air grows cold, the scent of an approaching storm infiltrating the cozy mustiness of the study. An electric charge hums through the room, their hairs standing on end, their breaths suspended in their throats. A blinding light erupts from the codex, painting the room in shades of swirling indigo and silver. The light pulses, expanding and contracting like a beating heart. Then it solidifies, taking form and substance, manifesting into a creature more formidable than they could have imagined. The entity towers over them, an intimidating silhouette, a fusion of a lion and a serpent, its shape shifting and pulsating. Its eyes burn with an icy blue flame, holding a glint of intelligence and malevolence. The room chills with its presence, the air dense with a potent mixture of dread and awe. As the creature roars, a sound that shakes the foundations of the house, Arthur and Marion stumble backward, their faces drained of color. The creature turns its icy gaze on them, the weight of its attention like a physical blow. However, unlike the previous manifestations, the creature doesn't dissolve back into the light. It lingers, prowling around the room, its menacing form a stark contrast against the book-laden backdrop. Their incomplete understanding of the Codex's language has led to this unanticipated consequence. Terror courses through their veins, freezing them in place. They lock eyes with the creature, the silence amplifying the imminent threat. The study, once a sanctuary, is now a cage holding a creature born of their dire misjudgment. Their attempts to fight the horror of the Codex have unintentionally unleashed the most potent terror yet. They're left in the chilling aftermath of their miscalculation, their hopes dashed. The Codex lies open, its secrets proving more dangerous than they could have ever imagined. The grandfather clock ticks on, oblivious to the terror echoing in its chimes. Arthur and Marion must confront the deadly manifestation, their misstep having dragged them deeper into the nightmarish reality of the Ectoplasm Codex. The study is bathed in an icy dread, the atmosphere heavy with terror and regret. The creature of nightmares prowls, its icy gaze sweeping over Arthur and Marion. Each guttural sound it emits reverberates off the walls, echoing the peril they now face. The air is ripe with an electric tension, the scent of fear nearly overwhelming the mustiness of aged paper and ink. Marion and Arthur stand frozen, their hearts pounding like war drums in their chests. Their eyes lock onto the creature, a manifestation of their mistakes and miscalculations. The room, once a haven of knowledge and curiosity, now feels like a death trap, a closed stage for a fatal encounter. As the creature inches closer, Marion feels a jolt of precognition, a fleeting vision that points to a potential solution. In her mind's eye, she sees a symbol, one that has appeared in various forms throughout the Codex. She realizes it's not just a part of the script, but a key to controlling the manifestations. With a surge of newfound hope, she shouts over the creature's growls, directing Arthur to the symbol in the Codex. Fear gives way to focus as they scramble to recite the new line, their voices shaking but determined. The words seem to hang in the air, reverberating with a power they've not felt before. The creature roars, a sound that shakes the room, causing books to tumble from the shelves. However, as the final word of the line is spoken, the creature shudders, its form wavers, flickering like an ill-tuned channel. Its roars lower to growls, its movements becoming unsteady. Arthur and Marion continue, their voices growing stronger, their hope rekindling with each word. The room thrums with an unseen force, the air crackling with energy. The creature convulses, its form losing consistency, starting to dissolve into an ethereal mist. With the last syllable, a bright light envelops the creature, a light so intense they have to shield their eyes. The study trembles, a sound like 1,000 gusts of wind fills their ears, and the overwhelming scent of ozone pervades. Then, as quickly as it started, it stops. The light fades, the sound ceases, the smell dissipates, and the room plunges into a stunned silence. As their eyes adjust, they find the creature gone, the room restored to its peaceful state. Their chests heave with ragged breaths, their hearts slow their frantic pace, and a profound relief floods their senses. The Codex, once a source of terror, now appears innocuous, its pages still once again. As dawn breaks, casting a soft glow into the room, Arthur and Marion share a glance, a mutual understanding passing between them. They've won their battle. The horrors of the Ectoplasm Codex return to their ink-bound prison. The study, with its towering bookshelves and the ever-present scent of books, stands a silent witness to their victory. Exhaustion hits them like a wave, but in its wake, it brings a tide of relief. Their nightmare is finally over, the unseen war against the Codex won. They've braved the storm, their resolve having steered them through a horrifying reality to the safety of the shores. Arthur and Marion, thrown together by fate, have triumphed over the terrors of the Ectoplasm Codex. The sun rises on a new day, shedding its warm light on the end of their extraordinary chapter, and the beginning of a more peaceful one. That concludes our journey through the ink-stained horror of the Ectoplasm Codex. I'm sure you'll be keeping your own books a little closer tonight. Sleep well, dear listeners, and remember, the shadows of fear often house nothing more than our own imagination. Or do they? I'm your guide through the uncanny, bidding you a creepy goodnight until we meet again on the next episode of Our Scary Stories. This is Our Scary Stories signing off for tonight.